me begin by saying this. The account we have here of Jesus' death is carefully shaped by Matthew. Matthew is a God-inspired, skillful writer. Of the New Testament writers, the two that are most given to the use of irony to explain something are Matthew and John. In some sense, Matthew is simply describing what happens, but he relates it in such a way that what he shows you are the ironies of the cross. Now, by irony, I mean words that convey in their context the exact opposite of what they formally say. That's irony. And what you'll discover is that in each of several paragraphs here, Matthew lays out for us the ironies of the cross. He shows what happens when Jesus dies, but he does it with such a delicious dipping into irony that we begin to see what God is really doing in this death. Instead of reading the section right through, I'll read it section by section as we go along. First, chapter 27, 27 to 31. Then the governor's soldiers took Jesus into the praetorium and gathered the whole company of soldiers around him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and they twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head. They put a staff in his right hand as a scepter. Then they knelt in front of him and mocked him. "Hail, King of the Jews," they said. They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. After they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him away to crucify him. Now, already, Jesus has been savagely beaten as part of the interrogation process. That was standard procedure. Then after sentence was passed, he was savagely beaten again. That too was standard procedure. Once you were condemned to be crucified, you were beaten again before you were taken out and crucified. He's already suffered all of that. What takes place here is not standard procedure. This is barracks room humor. They put some sort of robe on him as if he's an emperor. They twist one of these vine spikes that they have in the Middle East with thorns about this long. They twist it into some sort of crown and ram it down on his head. They put a stick in his hand as if it's a scepter and pretend that he's a great monarch. "Hail, King of the Jews," they say, bowing down, slapping his face, laughing. Ha, ha, ha. They take the stick that is supposed to be the symbol of his power and bash it against his head again and again and again. Great fun. Barracks room humor. But every time they say, "Hail, King of the Jews," they mean the opposite. In the context, the words actually convey nothing but derision and scorn. They think that their humor is deeply, deeply ironic. And it's very funny. But there's a deeper irony. Matthew knows, and the readers know, and God knows that Jesus is the King. The man who is mocked as king is the King. That's the first deep irony. After all, how does the book begin? We saw that already a couple of sessions back. The origins of Jesus Christ, the son of Abraham, the son of David. He's in the Davidic line. He has the legal right to the throne. And all through the book, there are allusions to Jesus being the king. He tells some parables in which, for those with eyes to see, the king in question is Jesus himself. In fact, part of the procedures during the trial had Pilate, the Roman governor, asking, "Are you the king of the Jews?" From Pilate's perspective, if Jesus says yes, then he could be condemned. It could be an act of treason, setting himself up against the Herod family, or setting himself up even against Caesar in Rome, a usurping king. Jesus answers with a kind of affirmation. "It is as you say. You have said this." But he doesn't want simply to come flat out and say yes, because what Jesus means by king is not exactly what they mean by king. But he is the King of the Jews. In fact, when you read the whole New Testament, he's not only the King of the Jews, he's the King of you and me. How does Matthew end his gospel? In the last verses of Matthew chapter 28, Jesus, once risen from the dead, says, "All authority is given to me in heaven and on earth." Quite frankly, he claims to be King of the universe. He's certainly the king of these soldiers that are laughing at his king dominion. The man who is mocked as king is king.